Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going to proceed with our forum, and we have 4 more questions. And in this particular case, the first question in this second block will be answered by Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio first. And this is an H-2 worker issue question. As you know, Guam faces a shortage of H-2 skilled workers, primarily affecting the construction industry and creating a tremendous shortage of nurses and other medical providers in our island community. Many years have passed and there's still no solution to this crisis. As our next governor, how would you resolve our H-2 crisis currently hurting our construction industry and hospitals in Guam?
Thank you. We have already been working with the Trump administration to reverse the imposition of the Obama administration's act to be able to reduce the H-2B, and we've actually brought in a number. We're going to be getting about 700 H-2B, and we've already welcomed many of them at the Department of Labor under the direction of Dr. Sam Mabini. And so we're very proud of that success. But we do have a one Guam mentality, and we've adopted this as one of the pillars in this administration to make sure what's good inside the fence is good outside the fence. What's good for your families is good for the barracks. It shouldn't cost us more to build our homes than it does to build the barracks inside the base. We need to make sure we're focused on what's important here, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have an H-2B shortage. We have a skilled labor shortage. And then the long term, the solution is, of course, well, in the short term, we need to be able to work. And I tell you, I think President Trump will meet with a Republican Governor Ray Tenorio than he'll meet with anyone else first. But that's me. I think the long term is always going to be about educating our people by giving them the skills and the talents that they need to be able to work in our community, by giving our people a free college tuition, free trade school, becoming carpenters, electricians. We don't have to rely as heavily on the H-2B, and I think that's what we all want. By virtue of investing in our people, making that investment in their minds and their skills, getting higher paying jobs for our working families, they don't have to go to the States. They don't have to find a job somewhere else. We need to look at investing in our own island and our own people because, yes, we need the skilled labor, but we need to work on training, the work ethic, the skills of our own people to make sure in the long run it's our families, it's our children that are going to have to go look for the jobs in the States. Let's work on developing our own skill sets for our own people, investing in Guam so they can invest in us long term. Maraming salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. That same question is posed to former Senator Lulian Guerrero. Shall I repeat the question?
The reason we're concerned about the H-2 worker is because it impacts our labor force. When you have too much demand and none of the supply or little supply, then our economy starts to suffer. So H-2 workers is a good source to bridge the gap for those supply that we do not have. I will focus on trying to make sure that we do have exemption from the H-2 worker. And I will also make sure that we join the Guam Contractors Association in the lawsuit that they filed against the federal government to bring in the H-2 workers. But more importantly, I will focus on our local talent. I will make sure that at the high school level, we again expand and strengthen vocational tech, vocational skills. Not everybody wants to go to college, and we need to make sure we can provide the resources and the opportunities for those students who will be more than interested to be part of the skilled labor force. So I will make sure that we improve the ability of our local talent and our local workforce to meet that demand, and also work very closely with Congresswoman Berdalio or whoever the congressional individual is to make sure that we network and we work with the Congress to make our case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, former Senator Lulian Guerrero. And that same question is posed to former Governor Carl Gutierrez.
All right, thank you very much, Norm. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was governor for 8 years, I knew where the resources are to bring for our people. It was in Washington, D.C. In order for anyone to be able to have a listening ear there, you've got to build a relationship with the powers that be in Washington. I did that. I brought President Clinton here. I brought First Lady Hillary Clinton here. And when it came to the problem that we saw here about 2 years ago with the H2, I wasn't thinking about running for governor, but I went, she's not here anymore, Delegate Berdalio. I said, Delegate Berdalio, the guy that worked for me, who was a secretary of the Navy twice, that gave us back our lands here, is still working with me on a private matter. I've asked him. The other lady that's in the Democratic side, this one is a Republican. I've asked them if there's any way that he can help to dislodge the adamants of the federal government from giving us our H2. Because this man was the compadre of John McCain, Senator McCain. He's gone and asked him, is there any way we can help Guam? My friend's asking. And he said, yes, we can do it. What's he asking for? I said, all we're asking for is 10 years extension up to 5,000 H2s while we build up our workforce at Guam Trades Academy. So I said, what is he doing now? He's nothing. So I went to Madden and I said, can you give me a portfolio? You don't have to pay me. I'll fly my way there and give me the opportunity to go there and say I'm representing Madeline Berdalio because I need a portfolio. She came back a week later. She liked it, but said there's no way illegally she could do it. I saw Governor Calvo. I asked him. He liked it. I said, I'll call you for lunch so I can give you a portfolio and you go there. You go there and see what you can do. They never got back to me after that, after they got their meeting. But that's what it takes, is the relationship that you build. It's not about writing letter and say, give us an H2, give this thing. You got to build the relationship so they know who you are and they can want to reach their hand out, shake your hand, and give you something good for Guam.
Thank you, former Governor Carl Gutierrez. This next question is posed to former Senator Lulian Guerrero first. And this involves healthcare. To residents of Guam, it seems like the situation at the Guam Memorial Hospital is an insurmountable challenge that no governor has been able to resolve for the past 40 years. The hospital's infrastructure appears to be deteriorating rapidly and is in a state of substantial disrepair. And no matter how much money we infuse into GMH, it seems that it is never enough or that the money promised never reaches the hospital. As the next governor, what would you do to solve the GMH crisis, to address an almost 50-year-old dilapidated hospital building in dire need of repair, to ensure that Guam's only public hospital remains able to provide adequate medical care for our island community?
This issue is very dear to my heart because as a nurse, I know what it's like to be working in a hospital that's not safe for patients and not safe for the people. And that's what it is now. It has lost its accreditation, which is a shame for our people of Guam. I was on the board of trustees when we gained accreditation after 26 years of not getting accredited. And we worked really hard with then the administration under the Camacho Cruz administration. That was the proudest day for the people of Guam and the employees and the nurses and the doctors at the hospital. What I would do as governor is I will first give the funding that GMH needs. They need the $30 million, give them the $30 million. Let's stop arguing. Our leaders are arguing too long, too much, while our patients are not feeling safe at the only public hospital that we have. I will give the hospital the $30 million. I will have their electrical panel fixed, because what a stress it is to be in a hospital when you're feeling maybe it'll burn down tomorrow. So let's stop dickering around with the lives of our people of Guam. I will give them the money. I will make sure the panels are fixed. And then I will go in there and work at their technology. I will make sure their billings are correct so that when they're given to the health insurance companies, the health insurance company will not argue and will pay the money right away. I will make sure collections increases from 40% to at least 70%. That's how we're going to get the funding. Most of all, I will put in a strong management team, someone that really knows the finances of the hospital so they can understand what to do about it. Let's stop putting our patients in jeopardy as a result of political grandstanding.
Thank you, ma'am. And that same question for former Governor Carl Gutierrez. Shall I repeat the question?
All of us here know that in our system of government, there are 3 branches. There's only one branch that can give money. I cannot give any money. No governor can give money. It comes from the legislature. So what do? The Guam Memorial Hospital is an autonomous agency, a board of directors appointed there. Most of them are politically appointed. The Organic Act says that the full responsibility of the health care of the people of Guam is in the hands of the governor. The buck stops with the governor. First thing I'm going to do is abolish that board and bring back the hospital under a line agency, bring that hospital over in front of the legislature and ask for a full funding. We fund Guam Memorial and health care first. That has to come between me and the legislature, not just from me. I don't have any money. Once they do that, then I can continue to work like I did with Tommy Thompson with the Health and Human Services. We can say, okay, we're fully funding the hospital now, because you cannot just give away 30% of your services and goods, every year, $30 million. So he said, I understand the governor. I showed him the Organic Act. I showed him the Compact of Free Association. You're shorting us almost $40 million a year. How can you help? This is a friend of mine, former governor and was Secretary of Health and Human Services, Tommy Thompson. He says, I'm going to give you public health doctors, public health nurses. I'm going to put some up in the Northern Clinic, the Central Clinic, the Southern Clinic, and the Guam Memorial Hospital. He was coming here September 17, 2001. Just 6 days before that 911 hit in New York, 9/11. That's what changed everything. Otherwise, you would have been seeing public health doctors here because we would be treated as rural. And he can do that. So it's the relationship, people. You go there and make relationship. And let's sit down and show him. Not just sit there in front of a desk and give you a courtesy call and tell you to go out. No, sit there and make him believe it by showing them facts.
Thank you, former Governor Carl Gutierrez. And next is Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio.
Peter John Camacho was the administrator at the time that we got accreditation. He's the administrator now. We've had 53 executive managers of the hospital. We've had how many governors in 40 years? 40 years. Yeah, we got accreditation under Peter John. That man has got passion. He cares about those patients, and he takes care of them. And most of the nurses and the doctors that are there now and the therapists are the same ones who were there before. It does come down to money, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we've been saying for years. This administration, our administration, we've been pushing the legislature. Yeah, it's not a political game. This is not games. This is people's lives. People need care. I met with the ICU nurse when my mom passed away, and she said, you know what, Ray, please, make sure we don't have to struggle to get that certain size of tube to make sure that the patients get the IV that they need in the right quantity. These are nurses who are doing the work. They asked for $36 million. You know what the legislature gave them last year? 9.5. You know what they need right now? About a 20, the accounts payable. Every single year for 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to work with the University of Guam and the Guam Community College. As a governor, I will make a new Guam Memorial Hospital with a dedicated funding source and teach our own nurses and our own doctors with a new medical hospital that is going to take care of all the people of Guam. We will work with the legislature to find a dedicated funding source, and we'll make sure that never happens again. We can work with any given number of partners. We can work with any number of people, but it comes down to money. You can't fix it without money. You can get accreditation. I will do that in Tenorio administration. We will get, of course, make sure we're not going to lose CMS. We're already very close to that, and I think we're going to get a decision soon. Ladies and gentlemen, under Tenorio administration, GMH problems will be a thing of the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio. This next question deals with public safety, and it is posed to former Governor Carl Gutierrez first. It appears that our government leaders cannot find a solution to adequately fund our Guam Police Department and criminal justice system, to provide for the training and recruitment of adequate number of police officers to serve our island's needs, and to curb our ever-increasing levels of crime and corruption in our island. There is a growing perception that the Guam Police Department cannot adequately stem the increase of crime, and therefore many residents feel less safe from criminals than ever before. If elected governor, how would you address the current problem our government is facing regarding public safety in light of the government's financial crisis? What course of action will your administration take to improve public safety?
Thank you for that. The last talk I had, I already solved the Guam Memorial. Now I'm going to solve public safety. Ladies and gentlemen, in my mind, my heart, and our campaign, Fred and I, number one is the health care first of our people. That's the number one priority. Second is safety. Because if you don't feel well and you're sick, you're not going to go to school, right? Or if you're scared to go out, you're not going to go to school. So the thing about it is that I'm going to hit my little friend here, Ray. He said that they raised the budget from 500 million to 900 million. But then how come Customs and Quarantine is missing 114 people? How come there's 47 less at the police department? I had $366 million, and there were full complements in public safety. So if you don't put the money where it's supposed to go, how can you get people out there to take care of the lives of our people of Guam? Sure, you're scared. They are scared. And then when you take down all those street lights that I put under compact impact and said I was giving out free street lights, they were not free, we were paying for it. But politically, they started taking it down, and how many hit and runs have you seen already over the last several years? That's a problem for safety. Even in the community, if you don't have street lights in the community, put them up there. Himlani, put a lot of street lights up there. Maybe you can see people running around with their slingshots. But you've got to put lights out there. Ilaw is what you need on this island. Am I done or are you not yet? So, sit down.
30 seconds.
Oh, so ladies, once you take care of public health, take care of public safety, then we go to education. Education, they get 66% of the budget, but they're going beyond the core responsibility of what you're supposed to do to educate people. Maybe there's some things you can pare out. So let's put the money first in public health and then safety, and let's feel comfortable at home.
Thank you, former Governor Carl Gutierrez. That same question is for the Lieutenant Governor.
Havazu, you cannot get money as a governor? Ayade, never mind. You know, we've increased the public safety budget. We have. We've had a lot of police officers. We've recruited, we've lost, we've worked on retention by increasing the compensation, and we've done the promotions. We've increased the number of police cars. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, public safety, we've seized over $100 million in drugs. We've got people across this entire spectrum in public safety working with federal counterparts, the military, and everybody working together. But ladies and gentlemen, you don't solve the crime problem by not educating our people. This fact, $43,000 a year it costs to put a person in the Department of Corrections. It costs $9,000 to get them a school education at the University of Guam. It costs less at GCC and the Guam Trades Academy. Most crimes are committed for economic reasons. They want to steal something because they don't have it, or they want to steal something to get the money to get what they do want. Fred knows that. He was the chief of police. He's a good man. He knows economics drives the most crime. Ladies and gentlemen, if we give our children a free education, and I'm telling you this for a reason, we've got to change the formula. If you want to change the outcome, you've got to change the inputs. The inputs are these: educate our people, give them the skills in trades and college, give them the future so they don't commit crime, they don't become homeless, they're not begging on the street or homeless. Ladies, we got to fix this community by doing smart things, doing things differently. I want to educate your children and your family so they can get the skills to get the higher paying jobs, to take care of working families, take care of their own families. They don't have to go find a job somewhere else or commit a crime against you. We can fix crime, but it doesn't come from just more police officers. Yes, we need more technology, but we don't need more jail cells. We need to get smart on crime, invest in our people, invest in education, and that's an investment in our future. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Same question for former Senator Lulian Guerrero. Shall I repeat the question?
So if there are all these police officers, as made the claim, why don't we feel safe? Why don't we feel safe in our homes? Why don't women feel safe when they're walking to their cars? Why doesn't women feel safe when they get in their cars? Why do women have to look at their back seat to make sure nobody's there? So if there are all these police officers, the question is, why do the people of Guam do not feel safe? Why is crime increasing? Why do we have a big problem with drug methamphetamine? Ask yourselves that question. Ladies and gentlemen, by law, we are supposed to have 464 police officers. We only have 194 police officers. In Dedido alone, we're supposed to have 176 police officers. They only have 37 police officers in Dedido, a population that's very big in our island. You go to Dedido and the people there do not feel safe in their homes. I canvassed Dedido. You know, they have bars on their windows. They have pit bulls in their yard for security. So why don't we feel safe? This government has a $900 million revenue for 170,000 people. We should have the means to provide the health care, the education, and the public safety. So you ask, where is the money? How come we're not giving it to the people of Guam and the services that you all deserve rightfully so? As governor, I will make sure we are going to institute community police officers in the community. When I was growing up in Sinohanya, I knew who my police officer was. He knew or she knew where my house was, and I felt safe. So we're going to expand again community police officers and neighborhood watch, where we're going to work with the mayors to make sure that the resources are there to make our people feel safe in their homes. Thank you.